Okay, so you ever hear a guitar solo that just sounds so incredibly cool and emotional? Or a song that just has that special kind of gritty feeling to it? Well, today, we're going to unlock the musical secret behind some of the most famous and influential songs in the world. You know what I'm talking about. That soulful, sometimes sad, but always powerful sound you hear in pretty much everything, from classic rock to the biggest hits on the radio today. The secret behind all of that? It all boils down to a very special set of notes.
And look, this isn't just some random collection of notes. We're talking about a scale that was literally born from deep emotion and powerful personal stories. And it went on to completely change the course of modern music as we know it.
Seriously, think of this scale as a kind of musical time machine. It kicked off in the southern United States way back in the late 1800s. From there, it became the DNA for jazz. Then, it lit the fuse for the explosion of rock and roll. And now, you can hear its influence in music all over the planet. It's everywhere. So what is this musical secret code, right? Well, it's actually surprisingly simple. It all starts with a scale you might already be familiar with, but with one very special, very important twist. So, a lot of musicians start out learning a simple 5-note scale. It's called the minor pentatonic. And it sounds, it sounds good, it's fine, but it's kind of basic. The real magic happens when you add just one extra carefully chosen note, and that one single note transforms the whole thing into the blues scale. You are literally one note away from playing the blues. And because this scale now has 6 notes, it gets a slightly fancy name, a hexatonic scale. But don't let that word scare you. Hexa is just the Greek word for 6. So really, it's just counting. Easy enough.
Okay, so we've got 6 notes. Big deal. But what is it about these specific notes that make them sound so emotional? Let's break down the notes that give the blues its unique, unmistakable character.
First up, we have the flat third. Now, in a typical major scale, that third note usually sounds pretty bright and happy. But in the blues scale, we lower it just a tiny bit, what musicians call a half step. On a piano, it's literally the very next key down. That one little change is what gives the scale its classic, soulful, and sometimes kind of sad feeling. And here it is. This is the secret ingredient. This is the note we added. It's technically called the sharp fourth, but pretty much everyone just calls it the blue note. This note creates a really interesting clash with the other notes, a sound we call dissonance. And that clash, it adds tension, it adds grit, and it's the note that makes you kind of lean in and go, whoa, what was that? That's cool. The final piece of this puzzle is the flat seventh. In a lot of other scales, the 7th note sounds like it's trying to get somewhere, like it needs to resolve. But here, the lowered 7th just gives the music this relaxed, open, and just effortlessly cool vibe. It's what stops the blues from ever sounding too formal or stiff.
Okay, the theory is really cool, I get it. But now let's get to the really fun part, how you can actually use this scale to start making your own music.
Probably the best thing about the blues scale is that it's an incredible tool for improvisation, which is really just a fancy way of saying making stuff up on the spot. The 6 notes in the scale are basically designed to sound good together, so you can play them in almost any order and create your own amazing melodies without ever having to worry about hitting a wrong note. If you happen to play piano, there are specific finger patterns that'll make playing the scale feel super smooth and fast. You'll want to use your thumb as a pivot point and keep your wrist nice and relaxed. The real key, though, is to practice slowly at first. You gotta let your fingers build up that muscle memory until playing the scale becomes totally second nature.
And for you guitarists out there, it's even easier. The scale creates a really simple visual pattern on the fretboard that we call a box shape. Once you learn that one little shape, you can play the entire scale without moving your hand. And even better, you can just slide that exact same shape up and down the neck to play the blues in any key you want. It is a total game changer, a complete cheat code.
All right, so now you've got the notes. But that's only half the battle. Because with the blues, it's not just about what notes you play. It's also about how and when you play them.
So you've got the scale down. But to make it really sound like the blues, you can't just play the notes like a robot. The rhythm is just as important as the notes themselves. You need a specific feel to really give the music its life and its energy.
And that special feel is called swing. So instead of playing evenly spaced notes, you hold the first note of a pair just a little bit longer than the second one. This creates this awesome, bouncy, groovy, and totally danceable rhythm that is the absolute heartbeat of the blues.
And the most common place you'll hear this scale is over a structure called the 12-bar blues. It's a super predictable 12-measure chord pattern that just uses 3 main chords. This structure is the backbone of countless songs, and once you know it, I promise you, you'll start hearing it everywhere. It gives you the perfect roadmap for your solos.
So there you have it. You've got the notes, you've got the feel, and you've got the structure. You now have the secret code to one of the most powerful and emotional sounds in all of music. So go on, pick up an instrument, mess around with these notes, and see what kind of story your music can tell. Go have some fun with it.